Hey, welcome back. So we got a new project. So I'm sure you see by the thumbnail, we have a 81 Trans Am. Traded a square body for it. Let me show you the truck we traded for this fine ride, and then we'll show you the fine ride. Right here's a picture of it. So a 1981 Trans Am. This is the last year for this body style. And it's the choked down version. I believe the gentleman I got this car from, a buddy of mine I bought it from, or I traded with for it, he said in 81, and I don't know this for sure, but he said in 81 you either got a V6 or a 305 automatic. We're having some carburetor issues. Whoever he got the car from, they put an L-Brock on it, and I already jumped ahead and cleaned it off. Actually, this is a different video. I started another video and it just wasn't working for me. But they had this they had this gasket on here, and you can still see a little bit of the silicone. They had it siliconed on, and actually ate this part of the gasket up. And they had it just sitting on the factory intake, and it obviously had a pretty bad vacuum leak. So they could never get it sealed off and make it run right. So I've dug up in my little arsenal of stuff I have the 1-inch spacer plates. This is a spread board here. I tried this. This was why I started the other video over, because this spread board's not gonna work. I needed this one right here, and I actually had to go looking and finding. And in what I believe I'm gonna do is this is gonna be the back, and this is the front. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be able to put, I'm gonna be able to put this gasket on the intake, put this spacer plate right here, and then put the carburetor on top of it and make it all work. I think that's gonna work. And I know you guys are looking at this Quadrajet, and this come off of my wife's truck, and there really wasn't anything wrong with it at the time when I took it off. I put an L-Brock on hers because we went with a 700 R4, and then I bought all the linkages and everything that makes the geometry of the shift linkage and everything work for the 700 R4. But since it's been sitting wrapped up in a bag in a tote, it's actually a little crusty, and it still doesn't scare me none, or any. It doesn't scare me any. But what happened is when I put it on the intake, this ear right here, I'm gonna have to cut and grind that ear out. That's just not something I really want to do, because this, I'm not sure what this thing is. I know it's a valve. Is it an EGR valve maybe? I don't think so. That over there is the EGR valve. I don't know what this thing is, but anyway, this even if I took this off and put a plate here, the head of this bolt will keep that carburetor from seating. So I know this carburetor has been on this intake and on this car, so everything should kind of work. It's just, it'll work a lot better when you get the right spacer plate in it and get it set up right. It should work. So this is really a will it run video, because I have yet to hear this car crank over. I've yet to hear it start up, and I'll show you some stuff that they did kind of goofy with it later on in the video. But I'm pretty excited to own it. I like it quite a bit. So anyway, let's do a will it run, and then after we do that, we'll show you some stuff with it. I put that tire on. I think it might be going low. I don't think it is. Shouldn't. I hope not. But anyway, we'll get you guys set up, and I'll try to put a tripod over there, and then you guys can watch me put the spacer plate on the carburetor, and we'll hook it all up. So I've already ran into some trouble. I've got 4 of these bolts and 3 of these. These 3 have the bigger head on them, and that's what I need. So what I'm gonna have to do is either bolt the front of it with bolts, or do something different. I don't know. We're just gonna go with it right now. I think I am gonna just, I'm going to just put the two back here in the back like this. Because that gets me on my back. Oh wait a minute, I got more trouble. They're not long enough. They're not long enough to thread on there. Oh, back to the drawing board. It's the crap I get into. Okay, sorry I got the carburetor on. I know I told you guys I'd turn it on, but I have this problem. These are what bolt the spacer plate to the, they bolt the spacer plate to the intake. And I have 4 of these, but the head was too small. Then it was going through the hole of the spacer plate, and I had 3 of these and I was 1 short, and then I was just gonna make it work and just put a bolt in the front 2 holes of the carburetor. But the problem was these weren't long enough by the time it all said. So anyway, I've got the gasket, the spacer plate, and the carburetor mounted, and I don't have anything else done. So let's hook the rest of that up. I really feel like since this carburetor was on this car, I'm just gonna hook everything up the way it was. I'm not gonna hook up the kick down. Go ahead and hook the throttle cable up. Put a pin on that later. Just make sure they got these tight still. Supposed to be a vacuum line coming off my distributor, right? I don't see that vacuum line. Yeah, I gotta hook this up. Oh. Get a wrench. This, I don't think it. I need the right size in it. 5/8. Maybe. Good thread in there. Oh, it threaded in there. Oh, this car's not gonna run. What a piece of crap. No, I'm just playing. My luck don't go that good though. Let's see if it changed. Got it hooked up, that's hooked up. Oh, gotta put a springs up. Is that it? I guess so. get a battery, see if it'll crank over. This battery came with the car. He said it was dead, so it may not work. Ooh, it's kind of sketchy. I would tighten those down and try to, but I can tell with the screw head sticking out of that, it's got a screw in it. You probably didn't want it to be. Alright, first time I've heard this thing. Let's just see if it'll. Yeah. We don't have any fire or any smoke. Let's see if the accelerator pump works. I don't even know if it's got gas in it. Got interior lights. We're just now getting gas. We're just now getting fuel up to the car, to the filter. Let's have it out some. Choke. I don't have a hookup for the choke. Yeah, I don't have a hookup for the choke. Let's just see if it'll crank up. Sounds like we don't have any fire. No fire. Even with that fuel going in there, should have busted off. There. I bet you I hook my distributor up there fire. It's not even. Screw down. Come on, play nice. screwdriver right there. Y'all see what I did with it? I just had it right there. It's taking to work. There we go. Got them in them spots. I bet we can get fired now. Now we'll figure out this sucker got a rod on it. It sounded pretty good turning over though. Sound like we got a little exhaust leak. Well, it runs. I like it. No smoke. Yeah, there was a little bit of smoke, but I think it's fuel related. So it's still a little hazy in the light, but man, this thing runs. I like it. So I got a shaker hood for it, or a shaker, and it goes through the hood. But I'll look at all the rubbers there. But with that carburetor, I don't know if I can make it functional or not. That carburetor is an inch taller, and I don't have the shaker breather. I have the shaker. I don't have the breather. I don't have the breather, and I don't have it's a big clamp that goes onto it right there. So this is the car. The interior's pretty rough with it. Has some floor pan issues. Got to figure out that shifter. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but the fan started turning after the motor started revving a little bit. I don't have any belts on it. I gotta get the belts for it. Gotta get the radiator hooked up correctly. It was leaking. So the buddy of mine that I traded this from, he was gonna make this a drag car, and he figured out, or he felt like it was too nice of a car to strip completely out, put roll bars in, and put it on a drag strip. Plus it has a title. So, you know, he called me, said he had it for sale. Ended up, I had a truck that he wanted worse than he wanted the car, so we made the deal. I meant to get the stuff out of the trunk, but anyway, so that flare, there's a fender flare right there on the in front of the wheel. They had one that should have been on the driver's side over here on this side, and you can see where the paint, I guess they put the fender flares on the front and back of each wheel all the way around, and then after they got the mod done, they sanded the car down and they painted the whole thing. And this is the original pinstripe of the car, and that's the original paint. This is the new paint. It wasn't for me, so I took all 4 of them off. And anyway, it's a pretty nice little car. I gotta find the flare for that, the spoiler or whatever you call it, and then the spoiler across the front. When I cinched it down on my trailer, the way I had it ratchet strapped down, it's on the front of the frame horns here, and it brought the front end down, and I like the way it looks rather than kind of up in the air. I don't like that backwards rake. Still quite a bit of haze in here. Like I said, I think it's more carburetor than anything. I probably flooded that carburetor pouring fuel down in it, because I watched the clip and I could see the fuel pump shooting the fuel up into that filter, so I just put more in it. I guess the next thing I'm gonna do is get it up on jack stands, figure out what's going on with the with that shifter and the linkage, see what's going on there. The console's in the trunk. I think I have all the interior. It just all needs to be redone. The headliner's dropped down. But like I said, the only thing I know I don't have is I don't have a breather for a shaker for this car. I'm missing the spoiler piece and that. And the rest of the car, I guess, is complete. It's in pretty good shape. I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of paint correction on it. Like maybe do something with this nose piece, get the Pontiac symbol back. Put me a bird on the hood. I gotta fix this. It's starting to bow a little bit. So we'll beat that back where it's supposed to be, and then we'll weld something back in the back to reinforce it. The hood, when you raise it up, the corners of the hood are eating into the windshield. So I had to put a windshield on it. And I think there may be a silver, like a stainless piece of trim that goes right there, probably to protect the windshield from that. So it might be something else I'm missing. But overall, the car looks pretty good. It's good enough for a driver, you know. Get the AC blowing cold in it. Definitely be a Saturday night cruiser for sure. So I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. We'll keep moving forward on it. Like I said, I'll get it jacked up and we'll figure out what's going on with that shifting linkage. Get some belts on it, figure out where the exhaust leak's at. Seeing all the small control garbage on it, I can just imagine where the exhaust leak's at. So that's another thing too. I tried a video when you heard that motorcycle go by. I like being on concrete, but I have a barn at my new place, and we may end up with HD square bodies out there in that barn. Maybe I can get some concrete and just get it fixed up and get some electrical and get some good lighting, but get out in the country and get away from that road noise. Cause I had the video with the door down, and then I had to turn the fan off, and it gets hot and it's aggravating. It's about to be wintertime though, so maybe by next spring we can have our 1,000 subs and I can be monetized, making a little bit of money off doing these videos for you guys, and we can upgrade the barn to a shop. All right, man. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff they tell you to do at the end of the videos, and we'll see you later.